Hello, how are y'all doing today? I'm just doing another Charles Barg cours de dessin, design courses sketch. You can see how I'm starting out with the measurements, just doing relative, like I used my fingers to measure how big the bicep was in relation to the rest of the arm, and then started going from there. Realized when I put it on my page that I made it just a tad too big, so as you can see in the sped up version here, most of the arm doesn't fit on the page, and actually this is a slightly distorted version of the arm. The hand is much too large, and you'll see that I completely erase and start over again in just a second here, just because that's too big. That was the one thing that I didn't measure with my fingers until now, and you can see I'm like, ooh, that's way too big in comparison to his bicep. He's got huge hands and really minuscule but well-defined biceps, which does not happen in reality. And so that's why I just completely started over. Make sure that when you're doing your measurements for drawings, you measure everything instead of just the arm and not the hand, because then you'll have to start all over just like I did. And then here I got my outline really quickly. In this one I cheated a little bit and started with curves instead of just really simple like straight lines and angles for my outline. It does actually, I think, make the end result drawing, when I skip steps like that, less accurate, but sometimes you can kind of get away with it and fudge it. Here I also skipped my straight lines when outlining the shadows and started shading things in really too quickly. I'm not sure why I did that, but it also kind of cheats my shadows a little bit. They should all be one, well, first they should be outlined, and then they should be one mid-tone wash, and then I should go in and start defining the shadows better, where the darkest darks are and the lightest lights are, after I have that one mid-tone wash. That way I don't get confused in the process. And I definitely can attest that I did get confused in this process because I cheated myself those steps, did not do my simple outline first, and then also started shading things before all my shadows were outlined, and so I ended up with an uneven like mid-tone, which didn't help me when I go in here now to refine my shadows with my darkest darks. You will be able to notice that it doesn't quite match the original at the end of this video. Another thing you'll notice with this video is that I had to color correct the video itself because I was drawing from natural light and it ended up getting really late in the day. Thank you, winter. And so my lighting changed considerably, and I just color corrected the video to make sure that you guys would at least be able to see the lines. Just drawing that rock. The rock is like probably the easiest, most relaxing part of this drawing because you don't have to make sure it looks like anything else. It just has to look like a rock, any rock. Doesn't matter if it looks like the original rock that's in the guy's arm or hand in the original plate drawing. And woof, it's like nighttime. This, although it wasn't really dark in the room, for whatever reason the video turned out extremely dark, and this is me turning up all the brights and the contrast as high as I can, so apparently it was very dark. You can kind of see me now blending in my dark shadows, trying to get it to look more natural. Not bad. I ended up with a much bicipier, a dude with bigger biceps. My shadows not as good, but the angle in between his hand and the bicep I also made more acute. So when you make a more acute like angle, you do end up with the bigger bicep. That's why when people show off the gun show, they bring it into 90 degrees or less. So that wasn't a bad modification that I made for anatomy wise. And I have much more of a cast shadow there too. But overall, let me know what you think.